Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family to the Champions League Match Week 4 predictions. And as usual, before we go into the Match Week 4 predictions, let's go through my Match Week 3 predictions and see if I cooked or did not cook. Let's do this. So, first game here we have Barca versus Olympiacos, and I predicted a 3-0 victory to FC Barcelona. Barcelona obviously went on to win the game 6-1. It wasn't a 6-1 type of performance, but cheeky prediction. I knew it was going to be goals from Barca's standpoint, and they got it. Next up is Kairat versus Pafos, and this game, unfortunately, ended in a draw. You know, both of these teams, this was a point for both of them to try to get 3 points, especially for Kairat, who was at home, did not manage to get the victory. Obviously, the game ending in a 0-0 draw. Next up here, I got it very wrong. Arsenal completely destroyed Atletico Madrid 4-0 at the Emirates, whilst I predicted only a 1-1. Underrated Arsenal and overrated Atletico Madrid. Next up is Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Leverkusen. And in my prediction video, as you can see, I put 5-1. And Paris Saint-Germain went on to win the game 7-2. Nearly a perfect as prediction so far. Next up, we have a Copenhagen versus Dortmund. And the game obviously ended 4-1. No, 4-2 to Dortmund. 4-2. It's a 2-goal difference. 3-1 is a 2-goal difference for victory for Dortmund here. So very great prediction so far for myself. Newcastle, Benfica. Newcastle 2-0, and the game ended 3-0. Another great prediction by your boy. Next up is PSV versus Napoli. Another game I got totally wrong, and I think most people got it totally wrong. Nobody saw PSV absolutely slapping Napoli 6-2. That's a very bad prediction, I guess, for myself. Next up is Inter versus San Gilloise. I predicted a narrow 2-1 win for Inter. Inter managed to win the game 4-0. Extremely impressive there from Inter Milan. Next up is City versus Villarreal. City won the game 2-0. I predicted 2-1. We take that. 100% take that. Next up is Atletico Bilbao versus Karabag. I predicted a 2-2. Bilbao obviously beat Karabag 3-1 in this game. Impressive victory from them. Next up is Galatasaray versus Bodo Glimt. Predicted a 3-2 to Galatasaray. Galatasaray managed to win the game 3-1. Another great prediction here from yourself, from my boy, from myself. Atalanta, Slavia Prague 3-1. The game ended 0-0. Atalanta continuing to be absolutely mid so far this season, especially in the UEFA Champions League. I predicted a 4-1 victory to Bayern München, and they won 4-0. Another great prediction by myself. Chelsea versus Ajax. Obviously, I predicted a 2-0 victory here for Chelsea. Chelsea obviously went on to win the game 5-1 with Ajax having a red card in the game. Liverpool versus Frankfurt. Predicted a 2-0. Liverpool to win. I got that right. They won 5-1. I remember when Frankfurt were 1-0 up, I was like, I'm totally wrong. But Liverpool managed to come back into the game. Monaco versus Spurs. I knew this was a game for Monaco to win. They needed to win. And I went for that 2-1. The game obviously ending 0-0. And I checked the stats after the game. Monaco had like 6 big chances, something, missing all of them, and Spurs didn't really have that much. So yeah, not a correct prediction there. Madrid versus Juventus. In the video I can hear I said Madrid win, but very narrow. Game ended 3-2. Game ended 1-0 to Real Madrid, and I predicted 3-2. And lastly but not least, we have Marseille versus Sporting. Predicted a 2-2. And the game obviously ended 2-1 to Sporting. And that finishes off for my reaction. I think I did pretty well. The obviously very bad ones, I would say, is Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, and then PSV Napoli. I mean, that was surprising for every single person. But once again, the predictions are cooking. And I've seen some comments about it. Do not use my predictions for betting. I know I'm really good at predicting games, but I'm not perfect. Do not do that. Do not do that. But yeah, let's move into the predictions. So first game up once again is Arsenal set to predict here versus Slavia Prague. Slavia Prague at home, Arsenal away. But I mean, I don't think away is tough for Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal will still be the tougher team going to that place. It's going to be maybe a little bit hard for them offensively, depending on how Slavia Prague play. Could go for a draw, but I'm going to go for a narrow Arsenal victory, 2-0. And they have like, I don't know, 9 clean sheets in a row. Arsenal to win the game. Next up is Napoli versus Frankfurt. I mean, Frankfurt, they beat Galatasaray 5-1 in their first game. And then lost 5-1 to Atletico Madrid, and then 5-1 to Liverpool. Napoli obviously lost 6-2 to PSV, and they're at home. They gotta win. 2-1 Napoli. Next up is Atletico Madrid versus Union Saint-Gilloise. Atletico Madrid need to start picking up points. They only have 3 points so far in the UEFA Champions League. Union Saint-Gilloise, I believe they have 3 points. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Atletico Madrid. Narrow victory at home. Next up is Bodo Glimt versus Monaco. And I want to give shout out to Monaco because Monaco are a good side, but they're just huge battlers. And I'm actually going to give this to Bodo Glimt. I think they're going to edge it and get the victory versus Monaco because, I mean, I guess that's what Monaco deserve. They don't take their chances. They play good football, but they're just not good at scoring goals and not good at stopping the opponent from scoring goals against them. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 Bodo Glimt. Sorry, Monaco. Next up is Juventus versus Sporting Lisbon. Juventus Sporting Lisbon. Juventus Sporting Lisbon. Juventus obviously have a new manager, sacked Igor Tudor, and won their first game with their new manager. They're obviously going to have a game on the weekend before the Sporting game as well. Juventus at home as well. I'm going to give it 2-0 to Juventus. Next up, first big game here to set our eyes upon is Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Whoa. Real Madrid have obviously won every single game so far this season, apart from the 5-2 humbling by Atletico Madrid. Liverpool, on the other hand, have lost like 4 games in the Premier League in a row. Lost the recent Carabao Cup game as well. Palace continues to own them. I mean, I think Liverpool have to win this game more than Madrid. Madrid already have 9 points out of 9 in the Champions League. And I know Liverpool have 6, but it's more about the broader context of the rest of the season, especially in the Premier League. You know, Madrid sitting first, 5-point gap over Barca. Liverpool, I don't know, maybe they're sitting 5th, 6th in the Premier League. So I think Liverpool are going to overperform. And it's going to end in a draw. I'm going to go for a 2-2 between Liverpool and Real Madrid. Next up is Olympiacos versus PSV Eindhoven. Olympiacos, PSV Eindhoven. I got to give it to PSV. They're coming in with great momentum into this game. I mean, if you win a game 6-2, you're going to feel unbeatable, especially coming up against a mid-Olympiacos side. Going to give it to PSV 3-1. Next up, the second big game of this week is Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munchen. Huge game. Looking extremely forward to this game. Very excited. Obviously, a lot of content will be coming about that game. Tactical previews, combined 11s, everything you would want to know about the Paris Saint-Germain versus Bayern Munchen game coming up. What are we saying? PSG Bayern, PSG Bayern. PSG Bayern. No. I have a prediction. I've had this prediction for a while in my head. It's a 3-1. If the game becomes a little bit tighter than expected, then we'll get a 1-goal victory. But from what I remember, the Bayern München game last time, they played really great. But when it came to scoring or creating chances, obviously now they have Luis Diaz. It's a little bit different. They don't have Musiala. But yeah, I'm going to stick to my prediction I've had for a while. 3-1 to Paris Saint-Germain. Next up is Tottenham Hotspurs versus FC Copenhagen. Spurs should win the game quite easily. Going to go for a 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspurs in this game. Next up, moving on, we have Pafos versus Villarreal. Quite easy. I think Villarreal will get the dubski in this game. Gonna give Villarreal a 3-0 victory away in Cyprus. Next up is Karabakh versus Chelsea. Karabakh obviously won their first 2 games. Then they lost their 3rd game. Coming in against Chelsea here at home. Early game. Honestly, could see it ending a draw. Chelsea already have 6 points in the UEFA Champions League. They're probably gonna rotate in that lineup. I'm going to edge it to Chelsea. 2-1 victory to Chelsea. Next up is Ajax versus Galatasaray in the UEFA Champions League. Ajax have been quite shit this season. I think Galatasaray will get the points. The only issue with Galatasaray is the games where you see like, oh, this is an easy point for Galatasaray. It's usually when they're battling. It's usually the tough games that they win, like Liverpool. I mean, Bodo Glimt are a good side, to be fair to them. But I'm going to still give it to Galatasaray. 2-0 victory. Benfica versus Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, 2 teams that haven't been as good as they were in the past 2 seasons. New managers, Jose Mourinho. I don't even know who the Leverkusen manager is. Let's go for a draw. 1-1 between Benfica and Bayer Leverkusen. Next up is Club Brugge versus FC Barcelona. Club Brugge obviously lost 4-0 to Bayern, coming up against Barca here. The game's going to be played in Belgium. Barca obviously gonna miss Pedri, gonna miss Rafinha. We don't know about the situation with Yamal, surgery, all of that. Barca should still get the win, but it will not be too comfortable of a victory. I'm gonna give them a 3-1 victory to FC Barcelona. Next up is Inter Milan versus Kairat Almaty. Inter Milan have picked 9 out of 9 points so far in the UEFA Champions League, and that's definitely gonna continue versus Kairat Almaty. Let's go for a 4-0 victory to Inter Milan. Second consecutive 4-0 victory. Manchester City versus Borussia Dortmund. Erling Haaland once again is going to be playing his former club. Game is going to be played at the Etihad as well. I mean, it's easy points for Manchester City. You really can't go away from Manchester City in this game and not predict them to win. Ooh, but Dortmund have been very good this season. Gonna give it tightly to City. 3-2 to Manchester City. Marseille versus Atalanta. Marseille obviously have 3 points out of 9 points so far. And I don't want to give Marseille anything, but honestly, Atalanta have been so mid in the UEFA Champions League so far this season. Getting humbled by PSG and, you know, not getting the points they need or the goals enough they need in easier games. It hurts, but I'm gonna give it to Marseille. Let's give it 2-1 to Marseille in this game. Newcastle United versus Atletico Bilbao to finish off match week 4 predictions. Top 4 team in the Premier League versus the top 4 team in La Liga. La Liga versus the Premier League, but the Premier League has been completely owning La Liga recently, so I think it's potentially could be a little bit ugly. I'm going to give a 3-1 victory to Newcastle United in this game. Let's take a look at the table right here. Paris Saint-Germain first, Bayern third, Inter, Arsenal. It's going to be really interesting because now half of the group stage games will have been played after match week 4. So the review of match week 4 of the Champions League will be really interesting to take a look at. What teams are in the top 8? Will there be teams that have won every single game? Bayern and PSG, one of them will not continue their win streak, or both if the game ends in a draw. Inter Milan should continue versus Kairat Almaty. Arsenal should continue versus Slavia Praga. Real Madrid could continue, but could also maybe drop points versus Liverpool. So it'll be very interesting to see. But hopefully everyone has enjoyed match week 4 of the UEFA Champions League predictions. If you want to let me know any game, the team that you support, let me know your prediction for your team's game in the comments down below. That's been it from boy PSG, and as usual, allez Paris.